What's up, Impact fans and whoever else is out there? I'm JaySin. This is Discuss Impact, back again with the Horror King, Gary. Gary, we'll get to him in a minute. Just going to run down some stuff. We are recording on a Monday after WrestleMania weekend. There's a lot going on. Sorry before that. Like, subscribe, follow, give us a 4-star rating, etc., etc.
Trendy and Gloria Cultum, etc., etc.
And this show will be talking about the New Japan Impact Multiverse, which happened on Friday. But there's some huge, ridiculous news about WWE and UFC combining. We got round 2 of shoutouts and FUs. I'm going to rant a little about Gisele and the Rick Steiner situation, WrestleCon allegations, whatever you want to call it. Also, congratulations to Jordynne Grace for winning her bodybuilding competition. And hey, Gary, what's happening?
I'd like to say just congrats to Jordynne for winning her bodybuilding competition. But yeah, let's get this podcast going, Jay.
All right, so we're going to start off with some cool Impact news. New Japan has another show coming up in 2 weeks called Capital Collision. They recently announced Eddie Edwards will be facing Kenta for the strong openweight title, and the Motor City Machine Guns are defending their strong tag team championships against my favorites, the Aussie Open, and the team of Tanahashi and Okada. I mean, geez, I don't think we've seen Okada in the United States in a while. I definitely haven't. But, I mean, that's more Impact and New Japan together, and those are the only matches announced so far. I mean, it's not a joint show, but, you know, kind of so far. And
I guess they did one last year too, right?
Yeah, Capital Collision has been a thing, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know how far back it goes. I noticed today I had a graphic from 2022, but it's cool that we're getting Okada on this show.
Yeah, the King and I have been discussing the Impact New Japan relationship for a while now, so not a huge surprise that they're working together and more, and who knows what's happening behind the scenes, but I don't know. I love it. I'm curious if there's Impact fans if there's Impact fans out there who don't love it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like on the fence with it just because I don't know where it's headed. I don't want us to get too comfortable with relying on this because like I've been there, done that with ROH, and the booking was kind of like 70-30, you know, like ROH guys were always eating the pin, and guys like a guy like we like Silas Young was losing to New Japan talent, and I think he's too talented to, at least not get half the time get a victory.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. That is a good reason to be a little afraid, but I mean, there's so much goddamn talent, and Impact needs talent, so I want to see them working together as much as possible. I mean, at least until things get bad, but whatever, we'll see. So the WWE and UFC, I'm going to read this, will combine, forming a $21.4 billion entertainment company. Yeah, I don't know anybody. I don't really understand this, so I'm just going to read. Newly public traded company will be formatted that encompasses the UFC and WWE brands, with Endeavor Group Holdings taking a 51% interest in the new company. WWE shareholders get a 49% stake. Dana White says the company has been on fire and now we'll be adding WWE to the portfolio. I'm excited to take this to another level. Vince is a savage in the wrestling space. Ari is a beast at what he does, and then add UFC, blah, blah, blah. So that's it. They're a gigantic effing thing. I don't know, Gary, you got anything on this other than...
I did see that Triple H and one of the bigger ones, maybe is it Nick Khan?
Yeah.
They were going to be getting like some severance packages, like in the millions. So they're probably at this point just waiting to throw their money in the fire.
Oh, yeah. Triple H, I think like $3 million or $1 million or something ridiculous, but just like whatever this is. But
being there and being this.
I guess, I mean, whatever they've sold it for, or, I don't even know exactly. Sold, half sold, whatever the fuck. This isn't a WWE thing, so I don't look into things that far. This is an Impact podcast, so let's get to the hot topic, or at least my hot topic. So over the weekend, Gisele Shaw accused WWE Hall of Famer and legend Rick Steiner of saying some transphobic things while at WrestleCon together. Now, by the time this podcast comes out, I could be totally wrong with what I'm about to say. But at this moment, there is absolutely zero proof anything happened with Gisele and Rick Steiner. The only people who matter that have spoken up are Chris Jericho and Lance Storm. both are friends with Scott, and neither were there. So I'm seeing it as Scott's friend sticking up for Scott, sticking up for his girlfriend. Also saw an Impact referee, but, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying there's no proof. And what happened to innocent until proven guilty? Clearly, it is the other way around in Canada, Gary, no? Hang on. Gary, do you agree? Should we blame Canada for everything?
I must admit, there's a few times like when they're stateside, I'm like, yeah, you're only here because you're getting that discount. You know what I mean? Like at some of our stores. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of we were saying before we went live. It's just kind of ill-timed because we're trying to build and mend a fence with New Japan, and if I'm in charge of New Japan and I see such stuff like this, I mean, I know it wasn't an Impact talent that said it, but it is drama, and it's drama that we should be avoiding, whether it hurts someone's feelings or not. I know we live in 2023, everything's trying to be, like on the up and up, like you don't want to put anybody down, but like you got to remember Rick Steiner is from a different era. Maybe this was a night he might have been a little drunk, possibly. I'm not saying he said it, but he could have been drunk, or there is an event going on, and a lot of ex-wrestlers do like to drink. So I'm not saying that makes it right either, but anyone knows that if you're a drinker, or you have, maybe he's even having drug related issues, it doesn't mean he should be banned forever from an event that he made possible.
Totally agree with that. Even have a little part of my note here that I'm going to skip to at the end where I say, what is the point of all this? Other than a wrestler coming off a miserably failed push to trying to stay relevant, or to just hurt Rick Steiner, an old school dude with old school beliefs, seemingly, which is basically what you just said. And I got no problem with that, man. It's different generations and different worlds. Like, people have to understand that. Like, you can't change the way certain people think. And I don't know. Like, again, what's the point? Like, I think Gisele and Impact need to grow thicker skin. This is a nothing story compared to terrible things that have happened in the wrestling world, drugs, and God knows.
We're here on a night where we're trying to mend a fence, like I said, with New Japan. And you can't do that if you're going to have all this drama, and it's just going to make look like Impact like they're Bush League. And,
I mean, to be fair, it didn't happen like the same night as the
no, but I mean, it happened.
Same weekend.
It's not a good look when you're trying, like I said, like it wasn't even like you said, no one really came to her aid, but a lot of people are afraid to come to the aid of anything because they're just kind of like you're basically telling someone to choose a side, and
it's political. It's
just safe to be neutral. Trust me, because like I've literally gotten arguments about things about like Trump and things of that nature, and it's not worth it at the end of the day, just because like I don't know, it's not fair to ask someone to step forward. Like, you're kind of putting your own reputation on the line.
And I think this goes back to, again, what we said like maybe months ago about them getting too woke. You know what I mean? Like, or being just like, they got to chill. Like, I don't want to know. I don't know what Tony Khan's, if he's a Republican or a Democrat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't know by watching the show. I don't think you would know by watching WWE either. Impact, you know. And I don't like that. Even if I'm on that side. Which,
well, I mean, where were these same people that were bashing the actor? Who was his name? Can't think of his name right now. But he's played in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4. Can't think of his name. Matthew. Oh, jeez.
Well, that's on you, horror guy. But
yeah, well, no, he isn't just played in that. He's like a well-known actor. I just can't think of his name going into this right here. But like,
how about Derek Jeter, for example, walking into a Boston at bat? Imagine what he was called. I've literally called him some of the worst things I've ever said. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to. It's like if you're an athlete, and I get this is coming from like a legend. But okay, just really quick before I forget, Gisele said several pro legends witnessed it and did nothing because it involved one of the boys. And like that's my biggest thing here. Nothing's gonna change.
I know what it is. I did have the first name right. Matthew McConaughey.
Oh well, that was a big name.
He kind of chose a side in Hollywood, like, and he made it abruptly plain and simple that he is Republican, and like he gets blacklisted in Hollywood just because of his, who he supports. And like, how is that any different? I didn't see anybody making a big deal about, him getting his feelings all stomped on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's just a regular dude who doesn't have like a thing. He doesn't, he's not transsexual or whatever. He's just a regular dude, so nobody's gonna feel bad for him or whatever. And but I mean, God, just think about anyone who's gotten bashed or yelled at. I mean, I don't believe for a second this hasn't happened before at a WrestleCon between two wrestlers.
Oh, like, yeah.
Maybe, I'm sure, okay, maybe obviously not the word transsexual or whatever, transgender, but like other things I'm sure went on. Like, I'm sure somebody called someone gay or something, like drunk wrestlers, like you're saying, at these cons that they've been at for hours and hours and hours, and it's filled with wrestlers. Again, I just really want to point out that there's so many wrestlers at this place who did nothing.
And honestly, I don't think, if he did say, I wouldn't doubt that there were other people saying it too, and it might have been perceived as maybe he was solely saying it. Like, I mean, how many times have you been in a room where you're with somebody and you always kind of chime in a little bit saying something?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we don't really know if it was just Rick.
No one knows anything. There's no video. There's nothing.
It could have been fans saying it too. Like
could have been
the word filth or something like that.
Yeah, I have no idea, and honestly, I don't care that much. But I did want to talk about that a little. So that's the end of that. Time for shout outs and FUs. Everybody's new favorite segment. I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Robles again, who always gives me good ideas, and one for my weed guy, who is usually always there for me. And then one more for the medical weed place, who is there for me when he's not there for me. And then my FU this week is just simply going to the owner and general manager of the Boston Red Sox, who have not paid any attention to off-season pitching for the last few years. Gary, go ahead.
Well, I've got a couple shout-outs. One is my Los Angeles Lakers kind of been on a major winning streak, and they've been looking pretty damn impressive. They kind of walked into something here with their roster. They kind of like got some decent trades, and since they've come over to the Lakers, they've been on a roll, and like now they're like on the cusp of being like the 6 or 7 seed, whereas before they were like a play-in team.
And you got arrested LeBron.
Yeah, and then I don't really have any FUs this week, but I do have another kind of positive thing to shout out too. Is the Eagles seem to keep getting all these really good picks from other teams without actually having to spend any capital. So
fine, I'll steal your FU and give it to Discuss PW again, who showed up on Facebook. Like, come on. You stole all my ideas, and now you're showing up on Facebook.
Yeah, to this random, like,
tool.
Not knocking the group. I'm not going to put the group's name out there, but it was so random when I noticed it.
unless it was an April Fool's joke. If so, fantastic job. You totally got me to freak out. All right, on to the Multiverse show. Okay, well, overall thoughts, Gary, and if you want to give it a grade, go ahead.
On the Multiverse United, like I said before we went to air, there were some matches that were really astounding, like some things that went down that were kind of cool. But then on the other hand, there was like some stuff with like Leo Rush. I was very underwhelmed with like his lack of aerial attacking in the match. PCO looked like PCO of Impact. I don't know. It's just elements of it, this show, that had me preferring an Impact special. I don't know if you got that feeling when you watched it, but it totally, I don't know, I felt like some of the stuff was kind of goofy at times, like the stuff with Suzuki and Kenta. Like, I like Suzuki and Kenta as a matchup, but I just kind of felt like there was too much fooling around during it, like kind of like it wasn't being taken serious. And I don't know if that's Kenta's thing. But I did like how he kept kind of doing a little bit of things to Suzuki.
See, I don't know if that was. I just thought that was like kind of like Suzuki is just old and can't really do that much. So Kento is kind of
yeah. I don't know. I just kind of feel like the show just was a little incomplete for me. Like, and I felt like the lighting was really bland, and I thought
no, definitely
like all over the place, and like I didn't like the setup of the announce team. I just kind of felt like it was a little bit of. I mean, I know they were cluttered for room, and I thought the crowd was really kind of on the dead side. It sounds like I didn't like this. I did.
No, you're right.
But the crowd was very quiet, and I felt like it was very cliquish. It was like it. I get it for Bullet Club, but I felt like if it was a New Japan talent, they were like cheering like them over Impact, which is kind of shocking to me a little bit because, like you were saying, they're not very like. They don't do very well in the States. And it just kind of felt like the crowd in attendance was very cliquish for anybody that wasn't Impact. But
that's fair.
But as a rating, I would probably give it about a 7.2.
Okay, I'll go a little higher just because, I don't know, maybe I was stoned or whatever, but I just kind of sat back and enjoyed it for the most part. I did miss the pre-show with...
Yeah, so did I. I didn't.
With my boy Yu Mir versus Gabriel Kidd. Yu got the pin. I like that because he's kind of an Impact guy now, or like...
It was a very short match. It said it clocked in at just under 8 minutes.
Yeah, so pre-match, whatever. I don't even know if that was on the... oh, well, I'm sure it was on FITE.
Yeah, it was. It was on the... they had it on at 10:45 when it was actually supposed to at 11 on FITE. And in that 15-minute window, they had the match, I guess.
All right, I'll go by my favorite. Yeah. I'll start off with my favorite matches. I think there was a tie. The tag team title match with TMDK, the Mighty Don't Kneel. I really liked them once I learned what the letters mean. Versus the Machine Guns versus Aussie Open, who, again, I like a little bit now because the Impact before this happened gave a nice little backstory to them. Like, I swear, more than I've ever seen on Impact before. So that was kind of a nice thing. The Impact, I don't know. What'd you think about the Impact? Like, not pre-show. It was the Impact show.
Oh,
right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the live.
I'm not sure what to call it. Yeah.
Yeah, like the live studio stuff. I really thought that was amazing. Like, it looked big league. I'd like to see us doing that going forward, but like maybe why not do that with our actual product though? Maybe not like a crossover or. And
also, like you're saying, it really looked awesome. It really did. And then like they go to the show and it's like pitch fucking black and.
Yeah, like there are things in that venue that I would have addressed. Like I kind of felt like it was cluttered, like over by where the guys that were doing commentary, and like you could barely see the Tron that they did have at times.
I was gonna say I didn't see any like sign. I could barely see any signs that even said like what the name of the show was.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You got to do little things like that. The only thing I did notice in the back was where their bar and food and neon sign in the back.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I did see, which kind of stood out to me, which is kind of weird at the same time.
It was actually to me, it was kind of jarring because of how good Impact, like you said, how good the Impact show looked, like as a setup for the New Japan show.
And there was a point in the show at some point when there were some audio issues as well. I didn't know. Some little popping and glitching a little bit, but nothing like what happened at No Surrender.
Yeah, no, this was probably the first time that there were no like huge glitches with FITE, at least for me. I mean, I always have problems with FITE, so but a little sound I'm good with. But
I did get a lot of nostalgia at the same time in this because I thought the Globe Theater reminded me a lot of the theater in New York City.
Oh,
ECW. Did you get that?
Yeah,
a little
bit. Yeah,
just without
a little bit. See, to me, it was like too goddamn dark. I couldn't even get a vibe of anything.
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah,
to be fair, I
felt like they focused too much on the upper deck up there. They had the lighting beaming down. I just kind of felt like, why not put some kind of LED along that? You know what I mean? Like along that upper deck a little bit, kind of give it a little, kind of like that flashy, like NXT feel.
Yeah, kind of odd. Before I forget, I have this here in my notes. Mick Foley popped up. He wants you to come to WrestleMania 3, which is a charity dress show. It's, I don't know, a bunch of
Yeah, that
wrestlers.
was pretty cool. I guess he got to use his actual theme song too. They said.
Foley, yeah. I mean, I guess maybe he owns his own theme or whatever. So cool
Well,
seeing
some of
Mick
it
Foley,
said
but
they thought maybe the licensing for that theme might have been ran out on the WWE, so they were able to use it.
gotcha. So the Bullet Club ended up beating they retained their titles in this tag match, which I thought was a lot of fun. I mean, Chris Bay and goddamn Ace Austin, we've been kind of begging for this for a long time. Just, let them go, put them out there. This was like a 15-minute match. And yeah, I thought this was really, really good match. I don't think any match was great. I don't think any match was great on this show, but I would say this was really, really good.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was also very, very happy to see Tom Lawler and kind of like an Impact ring as well. Yeah. A little bit with JR Kratos. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I've just seen him a few times. Good look, big dude.
Yeah, very impressed. Kind of had that Ahmed Johnson. He has that Ahmed Johnson look to him a little bit, mixed with, he just kind of has that kind of like that Russian character in I don't know, is it Street Fighter? He kind of has that.
Oh, wow.
He kind of has that big Russian look to him. I like that. Kind of almost looks like a mix of something from the '80s movie Flash Gordon too, a little bit with his gear.
Man, all over with the references.
Yeah.
So speaking of Kratos, I guess we'll just jump to that match next. He was in a match with Eddie Edwards, Tom Lawler, and Joe Hendry against our boy PCO, Fred Rosser, Sami Callihan, and Alex Coughlin, who I think you were saying you enjoyed.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd have to say outside of PCO, Coughlin kind of stole the show in this match. I don't know how you felt about it. He did some really amazing high flying stuff that I was hoping we'd see, just because I expected a lot more high flying. I think that's why I'm a little disappointed with the show, because I expected a little bit more than what we got.
To be fair to them, it was dark. They might have fell onto something if they jumped off the rope.
True.
So, who got the win here? Oh, PCO. Oh, this is what I loved. PCO got the actual win. PCO got the pin with a reverse DDT. PCO salt. PCO gets the win. I love it.
He did it on Kratos, right?
Yeah, absolutely love it.
Yeah, he was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I thought that was pretty cool too to have Ian Riccaboni on commentary as well, because he's very well versed on everything PCO can accomplish and what he's done in a ring. And it was good to see him back on commentary as well.
Yeah, for me, the production issues were kind of evened out with the awesomeness of Ian Riccaboni. He's just so good. Like, he's just like everything I want in like the not play-by-play, whatever the hell he is, color commentary. Like, he's just so effing good.
He came out of nowhere back when Kevin Kelly kind of, at least to me, I'm not saying he hasn't, he didn't pay his dues, but I had never heard of him from the time when Kevin Kelly went to New Japan and it kind of left the void at ROH. I had never heard of him, and I was really amazed at how amazing he is on commentary.
Totally agree, and let's hop to the X Division title match. Swan versus Kevin Knight, who we've been seeing a bunch of on Impact. Again, I like that. I like the guy. I'd like to see more of him. I think he's a solid X Division guy. Versus Kazarian versus Clark Connors versus Rocky Romero versus Trey Miguel. Now in this one, I liked Connors. I have not seen much of him.
No, I have never seen anything of him either, to be fair. Let's see, who was the one that was kind of like a cowboy ripoff of like Rhino?
Oh, well, now you're making me remember what people look like, and this was like 3 days ago.
Look, I kind of thought like it might have been somebody like maybe if we were to get James Storm back, why not?
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he kind of has that cowboy look or whatever.
Where the hell is James Storm?
Last time I knew he was shooting a movie, and that was the last time. And I think he's trying to rededicate himself. So I don't know if he's maybe having home issues or trying to focus on home life or whatever.
He's the kind of name I think it would be like good for them to have, like, you know, he's like Kazarian type solidifying name, but whatever. So the X Division, Trey Miguel got the win in like a shady kind of way, which fits his character at the moment. Short match, less than 10, one of the shorter matches on the show. I think it was like 8 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's what I was disappointed there, because like, but you got all these talent. I mean, I know X Division guys can win it, you know, like in, you know, matter of time, but like I just was hoping we'd have a little bit more high flying going on in this as well.
Yeah, I think if you have 6 guys, it should be at least 12 minutes, but whatever.
Definitely.
Didn't mention it, but that Eddie match with PCO got 12 minutes, according to a little over 12 minutes, according to 411. I don't do times. That's insane. But yeah, okay. It got 7 minutes and 12 seconds, the X Division match. So yeah, kind of lame there. But I mean, good enough. Just didn't get much time at all. Mentioned you got the win there. Another quick match. And then, okay, Moose versus Cobb. This one, surprisingly, I like because I never usually like big versus big. I feel like it's just really hard to do, but Jeff Cobb is awesome. I mean, I've been a huge fan of this dude for such a long time. I don't know if I just love Jeff Cobb, but I enjoyed this one.
Well, did you hear on commentary they were saying about Jeff Cobb, like he was kind of such a last-minute replacement. He literally had to get on a flight just to attend this show. So props to him for actually being an awesome dude and, you know, doing the well, he won, but I mean, doing the job and getting there.
Yeah, awesome. And
really dedicated talent.
Yeah, and even 411 said it was one of the better matches of the show. So good job there. I didn't know that about Cobb. I mean, I don't know. I can never say someone's like a good person, but he seems like an awesome dude. I don't know. You never heard any shit about him, or at least I never have. And I would love to see him on Impact more. Love to see him signed. I hate to say I'd like to see him
make up for that Jonah void that we don't have no longer.
Yeah, he was nice for a bit. Okay, knockouts match time. Oh yeah, you said he got the win. Cobb got the win there. Knockouts match.
They hit him with Tour of the Islands.
This was an interesting match. Deonna Purrazzo got the win, which I loved, pinning Giselle Shaw. Also, Masha Slamovich lost her 17th straight World Championship match, I believe, or number 1 contender match. And Miyu Yamashita. Nice job by her from the little I've seen.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with her kicks. I think she even looked better in this match in terms of like her connecting with the kicks on the different knockouts. And I mean, she was in there against some really heavy hitters and Masha, Deonna, and Giselle. So
yeah, just want to read this from. I feel like I'm sure people can say I'm biased when it comes to Giselle. So I'm going to read this right from the 411. Blah, 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 blah. Purrazzo, by far the most accomplished regular, getting the win. Miyu didn't get to do much. Slamovich had the power and sure held her own. That's it. Held her own. All right. So I mentioned a tag title match. Bullet Club retained. I just want to see a shitload of Bullet Club Motor City Machine Gun matches. What else? Kushida vs. Leo Rush. You mentioned this one, and you kind of talked me into because I liked it, but I don't know. I guess it was definitely the worst Kushida match I've seen so far. So
it's definitely the worst, but I don't blame that on him. I thought Leo Rush looked really flat in this to me. Like I felt like there was a time when he actually, I think was ill-timed with a move and he literally landed into the railing out along ringside. And I wonder if maybe he might have dinged himself a little bit too as well. So, I mean, to be fair, if he is wrestling injured, kudos to him for, toughing it out. But I just felt like I had seen him in ROH so much before all of this. And then, I see him a little bit in NXT, and I just didn't see that same passion on this night.
I agree. Damn, that reminds me.
But somebody said that these guys wrestle different events, too, at the WrestleCon.
Oh yeah. I mean,
so it makes me wonder. I
forgot about that. Some of these guys probably wrestled 5 at times.
If you're out there watching or listening tonight, maybe you don't, give us the 411 on what possibly could have been going on with Leo Rush. Maybe he was wrestling injured. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hate the match. I thought it was fine.
No, I definitely didn't hate it. No,
like we were saying, Kushida has. Every match before this that Kushida has had on Impact or involved in Impact has been fantastic, and this wasn't. So
yeah, it is a very solid match.
Yeah, and Okay, got the knockouts, got the tag, got the Kushida. Kenta versus Suzuki. I think we did that one. Kenta got the win, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of. He got the win when he put his feet on the ropes, and it's kind of funny. It kind of reminded me of something like Randy Savage would have did back in the day to Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? Like, or tried to get a win over somebody that was like, was like maybe more highly statured. And it was kind of funny seeing Suzuki like kind of hulking up because he even took to Kenta with a chair.
Also, to be fair, I think I could speak for Gary. We don't watch New Japan every week, so like we don't know the storylines. And like, did you know Kenta was a heel? Like, I didn't know.
No, I'm just from what I've seen, I'm just not blown away by him so far. I don't know. Kind of like the way some people are with the Good Brothers. I'm kind of in that, kind of like in that bracket where I'm kind of not like fully aboard. I mean, he's got a good character. It's just I haven't been too impressed with his like wrestling style.
That's fair, at least from the matches that we've seen. Maybe it's like a heel thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like we get very little to go off from him, and that sometimes happens. I mean, like kind of like your Bad News Brown back in the day. Like he was a talented wrestler, but you never really got to see how much he could go, just because like he'd kind of like get the quick win over a jobber, and you didn't really get to see how much he could do.
Yeah, maybe he's killing it in New Japan over there though in those matches. What the hell do we know? And damn, who was that? Rosser. I thought he did a nice job. I had a little note there, just Rosser with a star next to it. Because Kenta was in WWE, and like you said, who the hell was the last dude that we were just talking about? Leo Rush was in WWE, and Rosser, I don't know. I thought he was just like a throw. I thought he was like a throw-in guy. I don't know. He showed me like the most that I've seen from him in that match.
Talent was that? See, that's what I mean. We don't really. You know what I mean? I hear that name. I just don't remember which dude that was.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, yeah. I can't think of his.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like
he was part of the. He was part of Wade Barrett's group.
Okay.
The Nexus.
Okay, I wasn't.
Oh, Darren Young.
Oh, okay. Oh, was it Darren?
Darren Young.
It was.
Yeah.
I thought he looked familiar because
no days off.
Make the comparisons because he's like. He kind of has that, like, he looks a little bit like John Cena in the face. And, like, I didn't even really recognize it because his hair was all shaved off.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. I thought that was him. I was like, I wasn't sure. That's cool. I thought, so what I was thinking was exactly spot on.
Nice job, Brain. So, last up is the main event. I did like how they did their best to like recap things before some of the matches. Like they recapped the, not recap, but like they set up the, recap wasn't the right word. They set up like the matches, like the Suzuki and Kenta match. They kind of like, here's what happened, with the title, like Suzuki beat Kenta, whatever. But it was just nice to give a little bit to people like us or at least me, who has no goddamn clue. So last up. Sorry.
Did you get the vibe it was a little bit of a shorter show than normal too? Like it didn't. I thought we'd have closer to 3 hours, and it clocked in at somewhere like barely 2.5.
Yeah, I think it's the new pitchers 5 count thing that's causing that. Maybe.
Oh, I got you.
Not sure how that could be related, but who knows? Maybe they're just like trying to speed up. Like, hey, baseball is trying to move faster, so. Baseball's trying to move faster, and so is Discuss Impact. They're going to be done in less than 40 minutes this week, so why don't we get in on it?
Yeah, so, I do believe we're like one of the rare podcasts that even did a mini or somewhat of a review of.
Yeah, you know why that is?
Multiverse.
you know why that is? Because a lot of them didn't watch the show. That's it. Or they know that they're not going to get a lot of views because a lot of fans didn't watch the show. It's a New Japan Impact show, so I could get that, but also we don't skip shows just because whatever. We're fans. Even if we hated it, we would be here doing it. And there's not 8 of us that pop in and out every week. It's the 2 of us, hardcore fans that actually care, and we're honest, and we don't have to bow down before the promotion that we're talking about. Sorry, little thing there. And then I did like the main event a lot. I don't know. Tanahashi kind of comes off just like, I mean, he comes off.
Yeah.
I mean, he is. He's like a huge star, and like he comes off as one.
Oh yeah, definitely. He has a like really like superior look to him. Like his whole ring getup, like when he comes down with a like kind of like a little bit of a feather, not a boa, but like a I don't know, kind of like the way Cody came down. I did watch that, like the entrance of Cody, by the way, and that's coming from an Impact fan. I wanted to see what kind of like I don't know. I always like get a charge out of WWE's entrances and stuff.
Oh no, they're insane. I mean, listen, anyone can hate WWE. Some of the entrances they did at WrestleMania were just fucking insane. Like absolutely, there was this, like when Rollins is a heel, and they were singing a song for like 5 minutes. It just absolutely like, and that's one thing. Like I don't know how you can look at that show with like 1 billion fans, and it's the lights, like you know what I mean, the lights and the CGI, and like it's hard to shit on wrestlers for wanting to go there, you know?
Well, and I mean, it's gotten so big, Jay. It takes 2 nights to get a WrestleMania.
And now when UFC now, it might be WrestleMania week.
I mean, it's like that entrance was just like, like my jaw, like when I seen how huge that entrance ramp was, I'm like, you know, like that's like some Super Bowl shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like they're seriously getting close to that. Like it's insane to say it, but yeah, whatever. I'm sure Impact fans don't want to hear that, but I mean, check out the entrances if you don't give a shit about WWE. I mean, it's just a blast to watch. It's kind of like watching fireworks, you know? Like you don't need to care about anything. It's just you're just watching it. But whatever.
Well, I thought it was interesting that Bully took to Twitter and he said, even though you didn't win, Cody, you still look like a winner, all said and done.
Oh, yeah. Sure, he's just looking for, you know, little love from Cody or whatever. He just seems like one of those guys that's always.
I just thought it was kind of interesting, you know, just because, you know.
Be a bully. I say, I don't know. I don't like people that change characters, even if you're on social media. Like I want Bully to be a bully. I want him to be a bully on Busted Open, at least until he's not on Impact anymore. I want him fighting with Tommy Dreamer on Busted Open every week, or the angle doesn't make sense to me. And goddamn, I'm going to give this show, I'm sorry, an 8.5 because I didn't have to see Tommy Dreamer or Bully for the first time on an Impact show in probably 6 months.
Hashtag swerve, huh, Jay?
God, seriously, like that was a big thing for me. Like 20% of the show wasn't Bully and Dreamer, which is every goddamn show for the last few months. Like,
yeah, I totally get that. Like you were saying, like they got that match coming up at Rebellion. We might want to add that comes out on the 16th on a Sunday, and we'll be in the Rebel Complex up in Toronto.
I have never seen so many Impact fans agree on one thing in my life than when the match was announced, whatever that match is, because it's another Dreamer Bully match where you know it's not ending anything.
Yeah.
This shit's going to go to Bound for Glory. It's going to be a year-long thing. It's whatever. I didn't want to talk about it because I had a nice podcast. Well, we had a nice podcast. Let's try and finish something
nice. It doesn't help that Josh Alexander is, you know, torn tricep. It kind of hurts the flow of the show because you don't have your, you know, well, he was our champion, but I mean, you don't have your main event player on the show, and I mean, it must at some point must get creatively. It must be kind of hard to know how to fill the void. I mean, just because they don't have that luxury of being able to land a big talent with a lot of money.
Well, I kind of blame them a bit for that, for not having someone else in place. I don't think Macklin was on the Multiverse show.
Well, somebody was saying that Macklin to them is just too boring to be a champion.
I agree, at least at this point. Like, I think his character was cooler, like when he came in. Like,
oh yeah, I definitely. I kind of feel like he kind of knows, like he needs something to kind of reinvigorate it, like.
He needs something. I don't know what that something is, but he needs
That's
something.
Not a knock on Steve. I love Steve.
No,
but
creative hasn't done much for him to help him, especially when he's supposed to be the far and away #1 contender. Like,
yeah, the booking of him has been very suspect too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they had control, but I would have stuck him in one of these friggin' matches on the multiverse just to give him a win. You know what I mean? Like, he just needs wins. Like, I don't know, at least that's what I think. He needs as many wins as possible in a short amount of time, or like to beat somebody really good, but I don't even like. I
Or
don't know,
maybe when Josh was able to go, why not like let him win by a crook thing? You know what I mean? Like have him like use a chair, or you know what I mean? Or I don't know, even have, like I said, bring in Flip Gordon.
Especially if you knew Josh was hurt a little bit and he could still do things. Yeah, then they could have set that up or whatever, you know.
Yeah, they could have given that rage factor when Josh did come back, kind of like what happened with him with Moose losing there when he cashed in his briefcase.
Yep, I agree. And I actually miss Moose back in the world title picture. I know my boy Robles does also. And hopefully he'll get back up there soon. Because, I don't know, I think at this point Moose is more believable as a main event guy than Macklin.
Oh, definitely. And, like, that's what I mean. Like, that's why I didn't really love the New Japan show. Because then you're like, I've been looking for Moose to get back on a roll. And then he loses. I mean, I know it's Jeff Cobb. I know that.
Yeah, it's kind of like a week off.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's still a loss.
Yeah, no, it's a loss. Yeah, I know.
Which sucks because it's, you know, seen all over FITE TV and wherever else you were able to watch it.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess, like we said earlier, that is the one biggest worry with the relationship. But I'm feeling good about it, at least for now. I mean, Impact needed talent, and here's New Japan. So I'm happy and I'm excited. Other than, you know, Macklin, I'm hoping they still have time. They can pull out of that. Maybe, you know, get somebody else in that match.
Well, what I want to see us go over there and go to Tokyo Dome. I want to see that. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's my goal. That's my personal goal for Impact, to be in the Tokyo Dome shows.
They should be at Wrestle Kingdom.
Exactly.
And I guess we'll end it there. Also, I don't know, I can't think of the name of the movie. Whatever. Saw a really shit movie yesterday, and it made me angry. But I can't think of it. It was these 3 girls who went on vacation, and a bunch of terrible things happened to them.
Well, I've seen a really cool movie on Netflix just a little while ago before we went there. It's either pronounced Hung Yi or Jung Yi. It's a Japanese or Chinese based film. Kind of has a iRobot mixed with RoboCop. I don't know.
You lost me at Japanese.
No, I watched this dubbed.
I'm still trying to figure out Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Pretty damn cool though. If you can, you know, if you have the Netflix account, and I know you do,
yeah,
check it out.
Check it out, people, and also check out Gary's Gary's Movie Emporium. Is there horror in there?
No, but I often tout that it's a horror friendly channel, which lately it's gotten to become more horror than like just physical media stuff.
Yeah, check it out. He is loved by directors and God knows who else. And we'll be back next week, like always. Gary, got any final words? Oh no, just that, you know, we'll be back doing this next week. We're pretty much nonstop, and check out our channel for the podcast. Like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends about the channel. Yeah, and to all you haters out there, I will rip your motherfucking heads off, you pieces of shit.